Hey there, welcome to Finance Blueprint. My name is Nico, and let me ask you something. What if everything you've been told about retirement was wrong? We've all heard it before. You need $1 million to stop working, maybe even more. But what if that number was way smaller? What if real freedom, the kind where you don't have to clock in, stress about bills, or wake up to an alarm, could start with just $500,000? A lot of people hear the number $500,000 and immediately think, that's not enough. Not today, not with inflation, rent, and everything getting more expensive. But let's stop for a second, because this number, 500,000, might actually be the key to walking away from work. Forever. No gimmicks, no get-rich schemes, just solid, consistent financial planning and a lifestyle that makes sense for you. In this video, we're going to look at what life looks like if you had $500,000 sitting in the bank and decided you were done working today. What kind of income would that generate? What kind of life would that support? And most importantly, is it enough to feel free? Because here's the truth, most people aren't chasing yachts. They're chasing peace. The ability to not stress about bills, to spend time how they want, to wake up without an alarm clock. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what $500,000 can do for you, and whether or not it's the number that could actually set you free. We live in a time where wealth has become a moving target. One day, it's 1 million. The next, it's 10. Social media, financial influencers, and even well-meaning professionals have convinced most people that unless you're investing early, earning 6 figures, and owning 3 properties by 30, you're behind. But the truth is, most people aren't looking for luxury. They're looking for security and the freedom to live life on their terms. That's where this idea of living off $500,000 becomes so interesting. Because it's not a fantasy. It's not a clickbait headline. It's a real question with real math behind it. The kind of math that doesn't require perfect timing or a once-in-a-lifetime stock pick. Just steady decisions, a bit of patience, and a lifestyle that aligns with what actually matters to you. For some people, that might mean cutting back. For others, it means realizing they don't need as much as they thought. Either way, understanding what life could look like with $500,000 in the bank and no job tying you down is one of the most powerful exercises in financial planning. So let's explore it. What does life look like if you take $500,000, invest it wisely, and build your lifestyle around it? How far could that money take you, and what kind of trade-offs would you have to make along the way? Because the answer isn't just about money, it's about what you value most. Let's build a realistic scenario. Imagine you have $500,000 saved or invested. No more paychecks, no more raises. Just that amount, sitting there, ready to carry you into the next chapter of your life. So the question becomes, how long can it last, and what kind of lifestyle could it support? To figure that out, we'll use something called the 4% rule, a well-known guideline in personal finance. It says you can safely withdraw about 4% of your investment portfolio each year without running out of money over a 30-year retirement. So with $500,000, that means you could take out $20,000 a year. That's about $1,667 a month to live on. Now, that number may sound tight, especially if you're living in a high-cost city or carrying a mortgage. But in the right situation, it can stretch much further than you'd expect. And the 4% rule is actually conservative. If your investments earn an average of 5 to 6% annually and you're only withdrawing 4%, your account could continue to grow over time, even while you're living off it. For those willing to accept a bit more risk, maybe holding a balanced portfolio with 60% in stocks and 40% in bonds, it's not unrealistic to expect a return closer to 6 to 7%. That would increase your withdrawal potential to around $25,000 or more per year without even touching the original $500,000. At that point, you're earning just for holding your ground. So what does life look like on that kind of income? That's where things get really interesting. Let's say you're living off that $20,000 to $25,000 a year. The first reaction most people have is, that's not enough. But it depends entirely on your lifestyle and where you live. If you're in New York City or San Francisco, yeah, that probably won't cut it. But if you relocate to a smaller city or town with a lower cost of living, the math starts to work. There are countless places, both in the US and abroad, where rent is $600 to $800 a month. Groceries run $200 to $300, and public transportation or a paid-off used car keeps your monthly bills minimal. Now, picture this. A modest one-bedroom apartment, reliable internet, home-cooked meals, a gym membership, and the occasional road trip. No debt, no commuting, no dress code. Just you, your time, and your freedom. That's what this kind of lifestyle can offer. If you already own your home, even better. With housing taken care of, your $20,000 to $25,000 a year becomes far more flexible. You're not splurging, but you're not struggling either. You're living intentionally. This isn't the dream big version of retirement with yachts and luxury vacations. This is the I'm done trading my time for money version. It's slower, simpler. But for a lot of people, it's exactly what they've been chasing. Now, maybe you're thinking, this still feels tight, and that's fair. But there are ways to make $500,000 work even harder without going back to a 9 to 5. For example, if you're over 62, Social Security could add a reliable stream of income. The average payout is around $1,900 per month. That's more than $22,000 a year. If you're a couple, it's double that. Suddenly, your $20,000 from investments becomes $40,000 or more in total income. Or maybe you take on a remote part-time gig, something flexible that brings in an extra few hundred a month. That's another few thousand a year, and it can make a huge difference without costing you your freedom. And then there's geo-arbitrage. Moving to a lower-cost country like Portugal, Thailand, or even parts of the US can dramatically stretch your dollar. You're not lowering your standards, you're just choosing a place where $2,000 a month goes a lot further. Of course, no plan is bulletproof. The biggest risks? Healthcare and market volatility. In the US, healthcare is expensive, even with Medicare. A serious medical issue could wipe out a large portion of your savings. That's why it's crucial to budget for insurance or set aside a health emergency fund. Then there's the market. A couple of bad years early in retirement, when you're pulling money out, can hurt your long-term stability. That's called sequence of returns risk. It doesn't mean you should avoid investing, but it does mean you need to be smart about your asset mix. A blend of low-cost index funds and safer income-generating assets can smooth out the ride. The goal isn't to chase the highest returns, it's to protect your capital and make it last. Because once you have freedom, the last thing you want is to lose it. So can you live off $500,000? Yes, if your goal is peace over prestige, time over things, and if you're willing to design your lifestyle around enough, not excess. This isn't the kind of plan that lands you on magazine covers, but it's the kind that lets you wake up without an alarm clock, eat lunch slowly, travel without asking for PTO, and most importantly, relax. Because that's what financial independence really is. It's not about being rich, it's about having enough to live how you want without needing anyone else's permission. So here's the question I'll leave you with. If you had $500,000 in your time back, what would you actually do with your life? Let me know in the comments. If this video shifted your perspective even a little, hit that like button. Subscribe to Finance Blueprint for more finance content. I'm Nico, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.